Zac Brown Band on our iHeartCountry and Live by Live special with me, Bobby Bones, as we are here to celebrate their new album, The Comeback. Zac, it's good to see you. Let's talk about the album. Let's talk about the title and what it means. And we got so much to do here. So let's start with the album, The Comeback. Talk me through that.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to make the best use of our time, being away from our fans for the, year and a half that we were off. And so it was, Ben Simonetti, who's a great friend of mine, a very talented engineer and producer and songwriter. He is the one that kind of kicked me. He's like, man, we should just lock in and make the best album that you ever made. And so I give him a lot of credit for helping me to be inspired to go in and just us, we're going to produce it. And, so the time we were off, man, I spent, a year writing the songs and crafting them. And after being home for a little while, it was really like, I found my creativity returned after being off for a few months. And then I wanted to sit down with my guitar and I wanted to write, I wanted to craft, I wanted to sit down, and I kind of fell in love with playing my guitar and writing on my guitar again. So we did that, wrote with a lot of different people, had an amazing collection of songs together, and then went in. It was the first time I got to see my band in the studio. First time I got to see my band, period. But we're all in the studio together for the first time. So once they came in and we started recording it, it was just so much fun. Bringing all these songs to life, putting all the clothes on all of them. And, I think this is the best album that I've ever made, start to finish. And all the guys, everybody on the team just killed it.
I'm assuming the name of the record is pretty self-explanatory. The Comeback. I mean, am I right about that?
Well, it's a comeback to being able to get back out on a live stage together, to having people shoulder to shoulder again, and not be afraid to be in, within 6 feet of each other. The world coming back from the financial, crunch that happened with everything. It's, people getting to come back together, and the music hopefully being some of the glue that reminds them of, there's been a lot. It was kind of heartbreaking to see the news for so long and what was on the news. And, that didn't feel like the good parts of our country and what we are and what we do. So the name was when I thought about the name, I was like, that's very, very clear what we're doing. It's very clear that ZBB is back now, after I got to go and spend, 3 or 4 years working with other producers from pop background and country background and different things, working with all these different people. I had a lot of new tools in my toolkit to come back in and write and record. So this is a comeback for us to get back to form, back to, our first record again, and back to, that feeling where we made all this music and now we want to just take it out on the road and show people who we are and what we do.
You wrote 2 songs on The Comeback with, one of my buddies, Luke Combs. What's it like to write with Luke?
It was great. It's the first time that I met him. He was in my kitchen. He showed up and we sat down, man, and it was a pleasure to write with Luke, man. What an incredible voice he has, and such a bright light in this format. I think him as an artist he's an incredible artist, but he's also a really good songwriter. So getting to work with him was great, man. There wasn't any ego or any weirdness. And we sat down, and in about 4 hours, we'd finished Out in the Middle and Old Love Song, which are, 2 of my favorite songs on the album. So the chemistry works, man. You never know until you sit down and start, give it a try.
What would you say the major differences are in this album, The Comeback, and The Owl, which was your last project?
Well, The Owl, a lot of it was a collection of songs that I collaborated with other producers to make. So, using a lot of their influence, if you write a song with Skrillex, it's not going to sound like it does if you write a song and do it with your band, So it's, this album is just me and my band and what we sound like and the noises that we make. The Owl, there's still some great down the middle songs like Leaving Love Behind and things that are on The Owl. But I think that was a collection of a couple of years of adventuring and being curious as a producer. How can I learn from all these other guys that I really love working with? This album was, we have time off. Let's remember the best of who we are, and the return of our creativity and the return of like my personal life, everything. Like there's so many things that are coming out of a storm, like out into this like really beautiful place where I'm inspired. I feel creative. I feel productive. And how can we absolutely give this the time that it needs? The difference with this album compared to all the other ones, we made all the other ones in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe. This album, we spent a year making. That's never happened before. And what that did, it allowed me to step away, see the things that needed to happen as we come back and listen to it again with fresh ears, and have the time to really put together kind of what so far for, my masterpiece, as much as that can be.